What do Grand Theft Auto, the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim, and griefing in Minecraft all have in common? They're all about breaking the rules. In sociology, we call this deviance, not in a cartoon villain sense. Deviance just means violating the norms a group agrees on, whether that's robbing a bank or cutting in line at the supermarket. And here's the fascinating part. Games are like little micro-societies. They have rules, laws, and communities, and they let us bend or break those rules in ways we could never get away with in real life. In fact, the game often rewards us for it. So today, we're looking at how sociology explains the way games let us play with deviance, why we enjoy it, and what that says about morality both in Tamriel and in the real world. This is just going to be a brief whistle-stop tour giving you some overall comparisons between the sociological lens and how it looks in the games. Let's crack on. Few series embody deviance more than Grand Theft Auto. Carjacking, assault, and robbery, they're not side activities, they are central mechanics. GTA not only permits deviance, but gamifies it with a wanted level system that rewards escalation. Sociologist Katz in Seductions of Crime argued that crime is not only rational or utilitarian, but also emotional, often driven by the thrill of transgression. GTA perfectly illustrates Katz's thesis. The fun of the game is the adrenaline of rule breaking. Other games also use crime as entertainment. In Payday 2, players carry out elaborate bank heists. Success requires cooperation, planning, and violence. Skills valorized inside the game, even though in real life they would mark someone as profoundly deviant. The Dark Brotherhood questline in the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion and Skyrim illustrates how deviant subcultures create their own inverted morality. Entry requires an assassination, taboo in mainstream society, but within the Brotherhood, killing becomes not only acceptable, but a sacred duty. Albert Cohen, 1955, argued that deviant groups often develop alternative value systems that invert societal norms. What society labels as criminals, the group reframes as honourable. The Mafia, for example, glorifies loyalty, secrecy, and vengeance, values that conflict with the mainstream law, but are vital within this subculture. The Brotherhood's rituals, like the Black Sacrament, reflect Emil Durkheim's point that even deviant groups rely on ritual to create solidarity. Murder, in this case, becomes not only a crime, but a collective religious act. Online multiplayer games reveal how deviance emerges from community norms rather than developer rules. Griefing in Minecraft or Rust, which is blowing up another player's carefully built base, might be permitted by the game code, but it violates community expectations. Howard Becker's labeling theory applies here. A griefer or troll becomes deviant not because of the act itself, but because the community labels them so. In many servers, griefers are punished with bans or rank losses, demonstrating how online communities mirror real-world processes of sanctioning. Research on World of Warcraft guilds by Williams et al. 2006 shows how online groups form hierarchies that enforce norms internally, much like real-world organizations. Deviance Online therefore gives us a miniature version of how rule-breaking and enforcement work in everyday society. Moral choice systems in games like Mass Effect, The Witcher 3, and Undertale allow players to explicitly choose between altruism and cruelty. Often many players deliberately explore the evil routes, even when it causes discomfort. Research will support this. Weaver and Lewis found that players use games as a moral sandbox, a space to test behaviour they would never attempt in real life. Deviance in this context becomes an educational tool, helping players reflect on moral boundaries by safely crossing them. This aligns with Emil Durkheim's view that deviance has a functional role in society. It clarifies the boundaries of morality. By choosing to kill or spare an NPC, players not only experiment with deviance, but also sharpen their own understanding of what morality means. Finally, games often use deviance to reflect and critique real-world society. GTA is not only about committing crimes, but it's also a satire of capitalism, consumerism, and political corruption. Its exaggeration of crime highlights how deviance and power are intertwined. This echoes Michael Foucault's analysis in Discipline and Punishment, where he argued that power and deviance are deeply connected. Ruling systems define deviance in ways that reinforce their own authority. GTA makes this visible by showing how crime, business, and government are blurred in modern society. It highlights how societies construct morality around authority. Killing for the state as a soldier is valorized, whereas killing for a cult is demonized, even though the act itself is exactly the same. Deviance in games shows us what sociologists have long argued. Morality is not fixed, but socially constructed. GTA rewards behavior that we condemn in real life. Skyrim turns murder into a sacred rite. Online communities sanction griefing even when the devs allow it. The moral choice games let us test the edges of right and wrong in controlled conditions. In short, games let us play with deviance, to explore, question, and even laugh at the rules society sets. And in doing so, they make visible a sociological truth. What counts as deviant is never about the act itself, but about those who have the power to define it. Thanks for watching. I find it fun using my criminology sociology degree and comparing it to video games. If you too find this interesting, let me know in a comment below. I really do read and reply to everybody, so please feel free to drop something down there, make requests if you have one, and I'll see you next time.